I'm Groot.
Do you know what exactly Groot is or says about his life? He is one of the cutest characters that has ever come into the Marvel Universe.
I am Groot.
Groot is a Flora Colossus from Planet X, the capital of the Branch Worlds. The Flora Colossi are tree-like beings, whose language is almost impossible to understand due to the stiffness of their larynxes, causing their speech to sound like they're repeating the phrase, I am Groot.
I am Groot.
Other beings try to be friendly, but become angry with the Flora Colossi for not being able to speak.
I am Groot. I am Groot.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2014. Groot becomes associated with the raccoon-like mercenary Rocket. In 2014, on the planet Xandar, they spot Peter Quill fighting Gamora for possession of the Power Stone. Rocket and Groot interfere in their fight as they attempt to capture Quill for a bounty.
Like how much this is gonna hurt.
All four are captured by the Nova Corps
The authority of the Nova Corps, you are under arrest.
and sent to the Kiln, a space prison. Rocket devises an intricate plan to escape from the Kiln, which involves a battery taken from a device from high up on the wall as the last step due to its connection to an alarm.
Finally, on the wall back there is a black panel, blinky yellow light. You see it? Yeah?
However, Groot, innocently meaning to help, extends himself to a great height and takes the device, triggering alarms and forcing the rest to accelerate the plan. They escape, along with Kiln inmate Drax, and the five become the Guardians of the Galaxy. They travel to Nowhere to sell the Power Stone, where Rocket and Drax have a heated argument, resulting in a bar fight between Drax and Groot. After Drax drunkenly calls his powerful enemy Ronan to confront him, Ronan arrives and easily beats Drax and acquires the Power Stone, tossing Drax into a vat of spinal fluid from the mining operations on Nowhere. Groot rescues Drax from drowning, and while Rocket wants to flee, he is convinced by Groot and by Drax's apology to help save Xandar from Ronan's attack. During the Battle of Xandar, Groot sacrificed his own life to save his new friends. The tree creature used his ability to grow branches to encircle the other Guardians and protect them as the ship they were aboard crashed. Everyone survived, but Groot's body was destroyed. Rocket plants a sapling taken from Groot's scattered body, which grows into a baby of his species, whom Rocket names Groot in his biological father's honor. During the credits, the baby Groot dances in his pot to Quill's 1980s music, with Drax in the background. The baby Groot stops when Drax looks at him, but he starts again when Drax looks away. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, 2017.
I am Groot.
The credits already gave us an idea about who was next getting into the scene, none other than the baby Groot. As the new Groot began to grow, he stayed with the Guardians and endeavored with them on many adventures. The tiny version of the bounty-hunting plant creature and partner of Rocket Raccoon is super cute, and Groot has most of the best comedy moments in the movie. From the very first moment Groot is introduced, it's made very clear that he doesn't care about competing with his fellow Guardians, the four adult defenders of the universe trying to take down a ghastly monster. They snipe at each other about technique and weapons, taking every opportunity to show off their unique skills. Baby Groot wants none of it. While they're fighting, Groot dances around the arena they're situated in, shaking his hips and smiling as he does. He has the innocence of, well, a child. They were soon hired by the Sovereign to destroy an obelisk, but they were then targeted by their former employers due to Rocket, who double-crossed them. During the escape, they met Peter Quill's father, Ego,
I'm your dad, Peter.
while Groot and Rocket, along with Yondu Udanta, were captured by Taserface's faction of the Ravagers, but Groot was able to help them all escape. Groot then joined his allies and assisted them in destroying Ego and saving all his friends, but Udanta lost his life. Over the next 4 years, Groot continued to grow and started exhibiting the personality of an adolescent. In the end credit scene, we can see that Groot is now a teenager. Peter scolds him for leaving his roots lying around, but Groot just mocks him and plays video games.
I am Groot.
Avengers Infinity War 2018. Both Groot and Rocket then left the Guardians temporarily to accompany Thor to Nidavellir in order to help his mission to stop Thanos from completing the Infinity Gauntlet. Here comes the most iconic scene of Groot, which just turned the whole course of the battle. The Stormbreaker was nearly impossible to make it if Groot wasn't there to help Thor out. Groot remained in the Forge as Thor and Rocket set to work reigniting the darkened neutron star so that Eitri could build Thor an axe called Stormbreaker, but remained attentive to his game until he noticed a gravely injured Thor crash nearby after holding the Forge's iris open. Eitri called for Groot's help as he desperately searched for a handle for the great weapon, and Thor was slowly dying from the exposure to the star. After seeing the lengths that Thor had gone to forge his new weapon, Groot finally put his game down and stepped in, grasped the 2 pieces of Stormbreaker, which were still incredibly hot, causing him great pain. Despite getting burned by the burning metal, Groot then grew his forearm to a suitable length, and as he screamed in pain, he broke it off with his hand, creating a wooden handle and completing the weapon. Groot and Rocket were then transported to Earth by Thor, who used Stormbreaker to summon the Bifrost Bridge, and arrived in the middle of a battle in Wakanda. As Thanos wiped half of the population, Groot too was one of the many who disintegrated into dust. As he began to fade away, Groot tried to speak to Rocket, calling for his surrogate father. Avengers Endgame 2019. 5 years later, as a result of the blip, Groot was restored to life. He, alongside Bucky Barnes, Sam Wilson, Wanda Maximoff, and the Wakandan forces, was enlisted by the Masters of the Mystic Arts to join the battle against an alternate Thanos and his armies. During the battle, Groot was reunited with Rocket Raccoon. Eventually, the battle concluded when Tony Stark used the Infinity Stones to wipe out alternate Thanos and his army out of existence, at the cost of his own life. After the battle, Groot, along with the reunited Guardians of the Galaxy, attended Tony Stark's funeral at his house in upstate New York. Then, they returned to Benatar and flew to New Asgard in Norway to pick up Thor, who had decided to join them. He happily chimed in on the prospect of Peter Quill and Thor fighting for the leadership of the team, agreeing to the proposition of using knives in their fight, before they left Earth and departed for space. Thor: Love and Thunder 2022. After Avengers Endgame, Groot most recently appeared in Thor: Love and Thunder, still fighting alongside Rocket Raccoon and the Guardians of the Galaxy. The year 2022 marked the animated series of Groot named I Am Groot. It features characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or MCU, following Baby Groot on various adventures that get him into trouble between the events of Guardians of the Galaxy in 2014 and one of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2's 2017 mid-credits scene. Perhaps that's the entire point of I Am Groot. Baby Groot takes center stage in his very own collection of shorts, exploring his glory days, growing up and getting into trouble among the stars. The beloved hero is always up to something, even if it doesn't necessarily matter in the epic scope of the MCU at this point. The collection of shorts is worth checking out. If nothing else, they are incredibly easy to watch, and one way or another, they're likely to put a smile on your face and fill the Groot-sized hole in your heart until the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special drops in December. So that's all for today's video. Do let us know how much you love Groot. Stay connected until we bring you another superhero evolution.